Hey everybody, Daniel here. Welcome back to the channel. We deal with tough questions. We began last week laying the foundation for a big question of what is a man? Now, I know this might sound basic, but in our world and culture, it is not. It is absolutely vital. We have boys growing up having no idea what it means to be a man. They're lost, they're confused, culture's lost and confused, and they're longing to know what they're created for. But where do they look? The truth is, and we looked at this last video, that God is the one who created and bestowed manhood. He is the one who defines it and not culture. So over the next few videos, we're going to dig into two main verses in the Bible and begin to build upon this foundation of what it means to be a man. So let's start with the passage. 1 Corinthians 16, verse 13 and 14 reads this: Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong, let all that you do be done in love. The main idea we want to look at in this video today is this: biblical men are called to be watchful, spiritually alert, and guarding their heart against things that will destroy them. So what does it mean to be watchful? The term be watchful carries this meaning and understanding to watch out, to stand on watch, to stay alert, to be on guard, to stay awake. The picture is that of a soldier standing guard because the enemy is nearby. He's actively paying attention to what is ahead of him, what is around him, what is before him. Now, whether you are married or single, young or old, have children, don't have children, every man is called to be watchful. Remember, we have a very real enemy. Jesus states that Satan, he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And he wants to destroy everything that God has created. If Satan wants to destroy marriage and family, which he does, he often will begin with the watchman, which is the man. And if he could have the guard fall, then everything else becomes more vulnerable. So what are some things we should be watchful for? Peter states this: humble yourself, therefore, before the mighty hand of God. The first thing I want to point out to be watchful for is be watchful for pride. Pride is believing that everything is about you, that you don't need help, that you don't need advice, that you are your own authority. You'll listen to God as long as it lines up with what you already want, but when God confronts you on something, you'll ignore it. Pride states that life is about me. James 4:6 states God opposes the proud, meaning God stands against the proud. Pride will destroy calling, relationships, and families. So when pride comes up in our lives, we need to be watchful for it. We are to repent, acknowledge that it's there, worship, turn to God, realize that God is the one who sits upon the throne, not me, and humble ourselves before him. Pastor Joby stated this: humility is not a feeling, it's a posture, meaning we come before God humble, be like, you're a God and I am not. Because pride will keep us in sin, pride will keep us from God, pride will keep us trapped in addiction. So be watchful for pride. Next, we're to be watchful for worry and anxiety. Peter goes on the same passage stating, casting all your anxiety on him. Now, life is stressful and worry is real. The issue isn't about having worry. Worry will come, all right? Especially if you have kids, a lot of worry and anxiety comes with having kids. The issue is allowing worry and anxiety to direct your lives, meaning it makes the choices for you. Because if that's the case, then we will choose comfort over obedience. Men need to bring other brothers around them to help carry their burdens so that they don't let fear or anxiety or worry cripple their lives and keep them stuck in the same spot year after year after year. So be watchful for worry and anxiety. Next, we're to be watchful for anger. Peter goes on to state to be sober-minded, meaning to be self-controlled state of mind. One of the pitfalls men often have is that of anger. Men, be careful not to let anger control you. There are many angry men who have allowed anger to affect their marriage, their families, their friendship, their work. Don't let anger have a seat in your life. Don't leave it unchecked, because anger will take control. Be watchful for anger. Next, be watchful for passivity. I think this is a pretty significant one for men. Peter then goes on again to tell them to be watchful. Remember, that means to be alert, to stay alert, to stay awake. Like one of the greatest pitfalls for men is passivity. We become passive towards our calling, passive towards leading, passive towards pursuing our wives, passive towards pursuing our children. This goes all the way back to Adam in the book of Genesis. When Eve took the fruit, it notes that Adam was standing right next to her. I mean, he was totally being passive, not doing anything. Biblical men are called to be intentional, not passive. You're not created to just watch life go by. Next, be watchful for isolation. Peter goes on to state, your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. A lion looks for the one that's separated from the herd, the isolated one, because they are the most vulnerable. Men naturally drift towards isolation, this lone wolf idea. I mean, they could live in the same house, but still be emotionally, spiritually, socially, and physically isolated. Do not isolate yourself. Seek godly community. Find brothers around you who help you become the man you are created to be, the man of God you're created to be. Be watchful for isolation. Finally, the last thing I want to point out is to be watchful for lust. Countless men have destroyed their lives, their marriage, their families through pornography, through affairs, through entertaining lust. Lust is serious, but too often we don't treat it seriously. Jesus states in Matthew 5, let me read this to you. Matthew 5, verse 27 through 30, he states this. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. Now, Jesus is speaking in hyperbole, which means he's kind of overemphasizing something. He wants to emphasize this. How serious do we take sin? Specifically, how serious do you take lust in your life? Too often men are very passive towards this. They don't take it that seriously. We need to take it seriously. Pornography will destroy the mind, destroy the soul, destroy relationships. Don't ignore small things, because lust never stays small. It grows until it consumes. Take it seriously before it takes hold of us. Be watchful for lust. So men, be watchful. Be watchful for the pitfalls in your own life. Remember, we have an enemy who comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Men, you're created for great things. You're created to be who God's created you to be. But the enemy wants to knock you down. The enemy wants to keep you stuck for years. So our first calling is to be watchful for those areas in our life the enemy wants to keep you stuck in. Maybe it's pride, maybe it's anger, maybe it's passivity, whatever the case is. And maybe you're looking through these and you're like, man, I'm every one of those. Understand, you are not alone. You are not alone. The first step moving forward is we got to be humble enough that we need help. Humble enough that maybe we are in the pit. Maybe we are wrestling and living in pride. Be humble enough to admit it. Second is that we are to turn to God, realizing it's not a amount of my strength, it's turning to the God who created us and leaning on Him. And lastly, we are to connect with a community of godly men who are seeking also to become the men God created them to be. Do not walk this life alone. I want to leave you again with this final challenge, men. Will you choose to be watchful? Will you choose to be watchful for pitfalls and things in your own lives? Remember, the enemy wants to destroy you, but God has created you for great things. Men, you are created to push back the darkness, to push back the enemy, to know who you are, to raise the next generation that knows who they are and knows who the Lord is. You're not created to let life just go by. Let's begin to be watchful in our lives and connect with men who are also seeking to be the men God created them to be. So men, let us be watchful.